Welcome all to another episode of the C64 Roundup, your concise guide to some of the latest news and releases for your Commodore 64. And we have a bumper episode for you to kick off 2024, so let's get on with it. To start off the year 2024, we have a special feature presentation of Yeti Mountain by Russell Mills. And for the sake of full disclosure, I'm personally involved with the game project, having come up with the story concept and narrative, and also helping out Russell with the various gameplay designs. So naturally, this is the best game you'll ever play. Yeti Mountain is a multi-genre game title that kicks things off with a prologue showing you heading off to Yeti Lodge Resort as you reflect upon the recent spate of skiers going missing on Yeti Mountain. Is this a simple case of coincidental carelessness, or is there something more sinister going on? Why do you care? Well, it just so happens that the last person to go missing is your best friend Chris, a ski instructor who knows his way around the mountain ranges and is in excellent physical condition. This just doesn't make sense, and you need to find out what has happened to him. As you arrive at the ski lodge and step off the bus, you're greeted by a cheerful looking chap who turns out to be the resort's organiser, providing you with a couple of pointers to get you started. The first episode within Yeti Mountain is presented as a quest-based RPG exploration style format. Your investigations will see you going around exploring the resort and talking to the various locals, many of which are suspicious of new visitors, so you need to win their trust by doing favours for them. Interacting with the in-game characters found across the resort is key to uncovering the secrets of Yeti Mountain. Some will provide useful tips, while others will hold critical evidence. To keep things interesting throughout the investigation, you'll find that each person you talk to has their own distinct personality with randomised comments, many of which are influenced by the 80s, 90s and 2000s pop culture. Equally as important is strutting your stuff out on the ski fields. Once you get your hands on some ski equipment, grab some tips from the ski instructor and then head off to the ski lifts. Yeti Mountain contains 3 different ski events for you to participate in: downhill, slalom and freestyle tricks course. The ski engine used within Yeti Mountain is one of the best you'll come across. Not only does it contain multi-directional scrolling and 2 degrees of turning left or right, but the course layout is also randomised upon each attempt. The secret to success with all the ski events within Yeti Mountain is to not go down the slope in the fastest way possible, but rather keep a moderate speed by zigzagging across the ski field and using the joystick button to jump over obstacles. Each time you succeed in completing a ski event within the allotted time, the game opens up a little more as you obtain the respect and trust of the locals. There are 3 pieces of critical evidence that you need to collect before you can start to successfully interrogate a key witness to your investigation. Successfully interrogating the key witness should lead you to Episode 2, the Yeti Lair. Here the game switches over to a multi-scrolling platforming format as you gain access to the Yeti's lair and explore its diverse environment filled with traps and subterranean fauna. As you progress through the deep caverns, you'll come across ancient writings that transfer supernatural powers to your player when touched. Skills such as high jump, wall slide, double jump, and air dash will all need to be mastered if you're going to succeed in uncovering the secret behind Yeti Mountain. The game structure within the second episode is non-linear. There will be a side quest for you to uncover, and when you eventually come across the entity responsible for all the disappearances, you might be given the choice between finding out the truth or seeking refuge. Choose wisely, as your actions here will have consequences on how the game ends. If you have miraculously survived the Yeti Lair, you move on to the 3rd and final episode, where your peaceful ski run home is interrupted by a thunderous roar from upslope, putting the villagers at the bottom of the mountain in grave danger. And to make matters worse, the emergency warning systems is not operational, so you need to get down there fast so you can warn the village. Along the way down, you will come across the emergency system stations. Do you have time to stop and restore them to an operational status? Once again, the choice you make here will have consequences, as the final segment of Episode 3 sees you trying to outrun the fast approaching avalanche, and the restoration of the emergency systems will provide a larger head start in doing so. I'm confident that you'll be impressed with Yeti Mountain's production values. The high quality in-game visuals are very well complemented by the beautifully drawn cutscene graphics illustrated by Monty Boyd. Equally impressive is the SID music soundtrack produced by Rolly, which not only bop but complements the in-game action so well. Yeti Mountain will initially be released as a commercial digital version by Protovision, with a physical cartridge edition becoming available sometime in the first half of 2024. The game is both PAL and NTSC compatible. I'm so proud to be part of the Yeti Mountain project. Not only has Russell and team delivered a high quality product and a unique C64 gaming title, but it also ticks off the final item on my bucket list of things I wanted to achieve when I started RGN in 2017. I do hope that many of you will be in a position to give the game a try. I am sure you'll enjoy what it has to offer. I have a couple of sneak previews to show you in this episode, the first of which is Gridlock by the Megastyle team. Gridlock is a sliding block logic game presented with an overhead car park view where your objective is to get your ambulance vehicle out of the car park. To do this, you'll need to move all of the cars and trucks that are currently blocking your way until you can open up a clear path for your ambulance to make an exit. There are 80 levels in total on offer within Gridlock, with the action set across 8 days consisting of 10 ambulance callouts each. The difficulty level within the game ramps up with each day you progress to, and when you complete 10 callouts within a day, an intersecting graphic animation plays out each time. The Megastyle team have done a good job with the presentation of Gridlock, with the graphical display being somewhat attractive and the SID music tracks composed by Lukash are simply sublime. As for the gameplay, well, I really enjoy it, but I do love puzzle games. I find it to be very addictive. The first 3 days of puzzles are not going to stretch your cognitive skills too much, but this still leaves a lot of brain-straining levels that will have you playing for hours on end until you complete all 80 levels. I really appreciate how Gridlock contains a medal award system based on how quickly you can complete each level. And it also provides a reset mechanism that puts all the vehicles back in their starting positions without restarting the timer. Gridlock will be distributed via Bitmap in February, which will include a very limited physical release. Let's see what news tidbits I have for you this month. Paul Collar has recently released a video trailer of Spelunky 64, where he confirms that he expects the game project to be completed next month. Spelunky 64 is a port of the original Spelunky classic within the 64 kilobyte restriction. The game will contain the same procedurally generated levels spread out across 4 different worlds, and that most of the original treasures and items are included. Paul has stated that the player controls have translated quite nicely to a one-button joystick configuration and expects the overall game experience to be a strong one. We look forward to playing Spelunky 64 very soon. To my great surprise, Marv Hardy has persisted with working on his Chaos Engine project, and looking at the latest footage he has released, we can see the game continues to make great efforts to be as close as possible to the Amiga version. The CPU player AI is looking good, the background graphics have been spruced up, and we can see a bit of recoil effect when your player shoots. Can't wait to see more progress on this mini conversion. The Retrobytes crew have put out a recoded version of Tetris for the C64. This version of Tetris looks to blend in the best bits of the NES and Game Boy versions and feels instantly more playable than the original C64 game. While this version has kept the background wallpaper from the original C64 game, sadly the original SID tune could not be retained as it takes up so much of the available raster time that there was no room to implement it along with the improved game engine. Time to look at a number of other games that have been released across the past month or so. Fragile Gamebird is a simple little arcade game made up of 3 distinct sections. The first sees you trying to cross a busy road to collect the Gamebird trophy, and then take it back to your utility vehicle that is parked across the road. In the second section, you are driving the trophies to the building where the Gamebird awards are being held. Your vehicle will randomly go over bumps that send the trophies flying up in the air, and you need to position the back of your utility so that the trophies land back safely. If you have any trophies remaining when you get to the destination, you then start the third section, where you need to take each remaining trophy into the building, all while avoiding the people rushing out of it. There's nothing particularly outstanding about Fragile Gamebird. It falls into the fine for a one-time play and then you forget about it category. The game is available as a free digital download. Santa's Troubles is basically a Christmas skinned version of the Bagman games that LC Games has previously released. The aim of the game is to help Santa Claus recover all the gift packages stolen by the criminals. Control Santa as he recovers all the presents and returns them to the chimney. From time to time, Santa will have a magical power at his disposal, which lends itself to either stunning criminals or providing some form of immunity from the criminals. There are door traps for Santa to use to stay out of trouble, and elevators can be used both by Santa and the criminals. Just like Bagman, Santa's Troubles has that old school arcade feel that can bring nice, warm, fuzzy feelings for those of you who are nostalgic for those such things. Me, the game is fine for what it is, but I just find it all a bit too slow to sustain my interest for more than 5 minutes. The game is available from itch.io. A China Miner Christmas is a remake of the original China Miner game set within a Christmas theme. This version is an improvement over the original China Miner, as it features enhanced old school graphics, new music by Richard Bayless, and an implementation of more modern controls and physics, together with fairer collision detection to allow your character to nimbly traverse around the screen in a less frustrating manner. I didn't really enjoy this one much. It's still frustrating with its delicate collision detection, and perhaps the game is still simply too old school for my liking, and as a result I didn't have the patience to see the game through to all 30 levels on offer. A China Miner Christmas is available from itch.io. Trainyard is a simple game with the objective of directing train carts to their stations as designated by their alphabetical letter. You can switch track directions by pressing the corresponding number on the keyboard, and hitting space or enter will let you release the next train. This one started off very slow for me as the first few levels are way too basic, but sticking beyond these initial levels revealed an addictive little game, and I had a great time with it, even though I kept on messing up between the light red and dark red carts. Trainyard is also available as a free download from itch.io. Delve Deeper is described as a roguelike dungeon crawler, but the game is not your standard dungeon exploration style of game. You see, you don't walk around in a maze or a labyrinth, but rather you move down levels with each having something to do, whether it be combat, or searching, or even talking to some of the underground inhabitants to obtain some clues. The game is easy to pick up and play with its menu-driven approach. Combat is straightforward with 3 different attacks on offer, each one with their own implications as to the damage that you either inflict or sustain. Supposedly your success with the game is really reliant on the strategic choices you make, not only with your attacks but also with the trades and purchases you make during the game. There is fun to be had with Delve Deeper, but I couldn't help but feel some sort of disconnect with the gameplay. Kind of like I really wasn't in control of it. It's hard to explain, but it did diminish my long-term enjoyment of the game. Try it out yourself and let me know what you think. It's a free digital download from itch.io. Well, I'm not really sure how I'm going to explain Binary Battle to you all, but let me tell you that this one surprised me with how much I enjoyed playing it. Not that you can tell by the looks of it, but Binary Battle is also a roguelike dungeon crawler style of game, but just set in a computer GUI desktop setting. Think of the existing open window as a room that you're in, folders are doorways to other rooms, viruses are your enemies that you need to eliminate, and file icons are your treasure chests. Anyway, you need to traverse through 5 levels of your infected disk, with each level being 4 or 5 stages deep. The objective of the game is to kill the viruses contained within the disk and rescue your source code. You need to carefully manage your disk health while at the same time keeping an eye out on the disk drive heat. It is also abstract, but if you get it, then you are going to love Binary Battle. The game is a free digital download from itch.io. To finish off this episode, how about one more sneak preview? HarHaragon is the latest upcoming C64 title from the Icon 64 team. Framed and imprisoned for a crime you didn't commit just because the Galactic King did not approve of your relationship with his daughter, your objective is to explore the high security complex looking for parts to a pod that will allow you to escape and spend the rest of your life with Nico, your love interest. HarHaragon is essentially a run and gun game with a strong grinding element to level up your firepower. Eliminating the enemy within the game will often result in them dropping crystals for you to collect, and with every 200 crystals you gather, your firepower will be upgraded. As you explore the complex, you'll find that there are sections locked off by gates, which will need you to locate a corresponding keycard to open up. Other sections are locked off by concrete walls, and these can only be removed by obtaining the shooting power upgrade when you collect 600 crystals, highlighting that grinding is a strong element to the game. As you collect pieces of the escape pod, a tile image of the craft will reveal itself in the lower panel of the screen, giving you an indication as to how many pieces you have left to collect. In addition to key passes and escape pod pieces, you'll also find other useful items to collect such as health upgrades and temporary shields. As you delve deeper down the complex, the enemy you come across will be tougher to deal with, and they will inflict more damage upon your health bar if you do get hit. So you better make sure your weapon is at full strength before you try taking on those lowest levels, and more importantly, be strategic as to when you decide to use the health pickups. The auto map feature within HarHaragon is just great. Not only does it show where you've been, but it also indicates what items are still left in those rooms for you to pick up. The production values within the game are strong. The graphic style is quite attractive, and your character moves around the screen very well, and the 8-way shooting mechanism makes blasting enemies quite fun. The trance-like thumping SID soundtrack is well suited to the gameplay, though it might annoy family members in the next room with its constant repeating loop play, as there is only one track. HarHaragon is sure to be enjoyed by most C64 gamers. Easy to pick up and play, but requires a few goes to make deep progress within it. HarHaragon will be released by Cytronic Software within the upcoming weeks as a digital download, standard cassette, and USB cassette. And that is a wrap on another episode, and I hope you can agree that the C64 gaming scene is starting out strong in 2024. Thank you everyone for taking your time to watch the RGN C64 Roundup series over the past few years. It's been great covering all the modern day releases for our C64. Until next time, bye for now.